What is it? Oh, hey, welcome to your Kind of Funny Gamescast pre-show. It's me and Tim.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we're already live. Look at this real quick. Wait, fuck. It's too quiet.
So quiet. It's a video of Gia that Tim's going to tweet out.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Gia, what do you think the Spider-Man figure thing is?
It's just the biggest fail of all time. We've been watching all the Spider-Man movies, and then she looked at me and she was like mimicking Spider-Man, and I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What do you think the finger thing is?" And she goes, it's like, "You're a fucking disaster."
To be fair, she's copying what's his face in the first movie, Tobey Maguire.
No,
he definitely does this.
Yeah,
he definitely does on the roof.
But her thing was a bit more like.
It's something with his hand and his wrist.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But it's very funny.
Kebab says, I usually miss these because I go back to bed after Kind of Funny Games daily. Where are you from, Kebabs?
You go back to bed.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Mystery, all right? Don't do that.
Do we know where he's from?
I don't.
Good.
In my brain Rolodex of information.
Ignacio Rojas says, lights and audio, guys. Come on. The lights are on. The audio's on.
Yeah.
God damn it! Is there something wrong? Is there a reason why they're not seeing it?
No, I mean people are responding to the thwip.
Oh, okay, great.
But yeah.
Chance Carter says, y'all seen the pics from the woodland fires? No.
Also, Ignacio, you know that we put you guys on standby for like 5 minutes. What's the deal?
Standby.
What's the deal? Man, I really...
Jonathan S says, what'd you guys do for lunch today? Would you
Tim,
be surprised to know we had Chipotle?
I need a clap.
Now?
Yes. Excellent. What is that? 2 minutes in? Great.
Barry Bumford says, Tim, tell Jones he needs to get Ben to put you on Frame Trap. I'll do that eventually. I just need to go down to LA. I want to be on all their shows.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Oh.
Interesting. That's commitment to get up at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Kevin Kamaki says, I'm playing, but my attention span is short today. What you playing? What are you playing?
Scroll up.
What are you buying?
Responding to Demetrius. Let's play some games, bro.
Oh, just games in general, yeah. Rose617 says, KF reaching New Zealand. We got a lot of New Zealand people.
The New Zealanders. There's one New Zealander in particular, Tom, who gets really mad because I specifically make a point of calling him Australian. It's like our bit.
Yeah, it's a thing. So you're Kevining him. He gets
very upset. Yeah, but then he does something to me which I don't remember off the top of my head. So it's like a mutual thing. If anybody's wondering, apparently the airbags on my car got recalled. So I got this like crazy like postcard that's like, you have to get it fixed right now or everything could explode.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to figure out how to make that work. They have this cool texty thing though that you could schedule through.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was like, text this code to this number and it'll verify everything for you and schedule you an appointment.
That's pretty cool.
I don't want to talk to people. This is great.
What
do you think
Ignacio Rojas
is?
says, there's a big delay. I'm just saying if you're in front of the camera, you could turn the mics on. We don't sometimes because we're talking about
things
that we can talk about. Yeah. Chance Carter says, Tim, have you gotten a chance to watch American Vandal Season 2? I watched episode 1 last night. Oh my God. It's not fair that the show is that good.
I only got to episode 3.
Of season 2?
Yes.
I mean, I'm only 1 episode in, but
I think I'm in the minority, but I think I like season 1 better. And
Are you in the minority?
I think so.
Really?
We talked about it briefly on a morning show at some point, and there were a lot of people in the chat saying that they liked the second one better.
Wow, season. That's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine that being true. But I love it. I love how different it is. Like, it's interesting that there's not, at least so far, there's not a protagonist. Like, there's not one main person. I think they're so smart about like making it different, and I love how meta it all is.
It's so funny.
I honestly think that American Vandal might be my second favorite show of all time behind Game of Thrones.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big.
It's fucking amazing. It's like, because it's so well done and it's so funny.
So Chance Carter says the last half is too perfect. So maybe that's what I'm missing out on. Maybe I need to finish.
It kills season 1. That's insane. How?
See, there's a lot of debate.
Brandon Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Joining the free
Ignacio,
show.
I love it.
Miss Yasmin says, Joey and Tim, has Nick seen the Rainbow Six movie news? Miss Yasmin, why do you ask us questions like that?
Mr.
I have seen it. I'm excited. Michael B. Jordan potentially being the star of the Rainbow Six movie. That could be cool. But like, why would you ask us if Nick has seen it? I don't know.
And I'm gonna, I have no idea. Ask him tomorrow on the morning show. I feel like that's a good.
Nation186 says, Tim, for fun, if you could swap someone from Easy
Not a
Allies to
shame.
Kind of Funny and vice versa, who would it be? I would definitely. I want Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You're
and
just
Huber.
not just I'm here.
I want both of you. Well, that's
Come
the thing.
on.
I'll trade two people.
Take the gloves off,
I'll
man.
trade two to get the two of you. Like, I mean, fuck it. Let's trade Nick and Craig. And I'll take you and
Let's
Huber.
just burn it down, start anew. I love it.
Hey, Miguel.
Classical says, Tim, have you watched Community? It's very meta. Yes, I loved the first 4 seasons of Community. Then I felt like it was just getting like too much. I know a lot of people dropped off after 3, but I thought 4 was decent.
Still haven't watched it.
It's funny.
I know.
That's one of those ones you recommended for years. It took me way too long to get into. Once I did, I was like, oh shit, he's right. I didn't
For which?
know.
For what?
For Community, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You still haven't seen American Vandal.
Oh, man.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
yeah.
So
Season
good.
2 looks so great.
I'm only 1 episode in.
Oh, is it out?
It's out.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
damn.
Came out
Yeah,
last
it
week.
came out
No.
Friday. Last Friday? Yeah.
Yeah. They did such a great job with that.
Cameron Kennedy, 4.3.
What did they say?
4, not 3. I don't really know what that is.
Yeah, because he's saying
Treating
season 3 of
Nick
Community.
TZI sounds like
'Cause
sabotage.
that's when everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
But you're saying season 4 is still pretty good.
Yeah. Like,
I actually only watched 1, 2, and 3.
well, because 3 was the last one that Harmon was on.
Right.
And then, 4. But I thought 4 did a good job of at least some of it. Like, 4 got weird because, like, cast members were leaving and all that
Right.
shit. But there was some really good episodes in it.
Chevy Chase? Chevy Chase left? That's right.
No, this is all inaccurate.
I did not bring Rufus. I
What?
should have.
No, the cast didn't leave till season 5.
Really?
Yeah, you got the same cast in season 4.
Donald Glover didn't
Right,
leave?
Season 5.
Really?
Yeah.
To join the Plumber Society or whatever it was.
Huh.
What a weird way to write him
Chevy
off.
Chase left in 4,
Yeah, midway through, right?
right?
No.
Is
Chevy
he-
Chase-
What?
Because he dies.
I'll just take.
Right?
Spoilers!
Spoilers? My God.
Shut up, dude. You should have watched it already. Are you going to watch it right now?
Huh.
Maybe.
Okay, well,
Well, not anymore.
it doesn't even matter that Chevy Chase dies because he sucked.
Yeah, he really did.
Again, spoilers.
Kebab says, I'm guessing there's no mobile game or bullshit today. Yes, there is.
Why wouldn't
It's a
there be?
mobile game or NES game.
That's right. We're going a little straight up. We did that
Nice.
Atari one a couple
We'll
of
see.
weeks ago, and in honor of the Nintendo Switch Online mode, I thought it'd be fun to just go straight mobile game or NES game.
Yeah.
I have not seen the trailer for the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I saw some pictures from it, but yeah, Cohen Western. Sign me up. I don't know if I even need to see that trailer.
Joey and I are different heights.
Never watched Easy Allies. Sell me on it. Kind of funny. Less budget. More people.
People and more areas of expertise,
Oh, okay.
I would
Yeah,
say.
a lot of
It's a different
Yeah.
skill set.
Yeah, I feel like we really know what we're talking about for very specific things, like PlayStation and Nintendo specifically. We kind of got on lockdown, but like you guys got the JRPGs and the everything. Literally, everything. We got JRPGs too.
Yeah,
But-
let's be honest. I think they're experts or
Well,
more experts than I am.
I think that the difference is they have multiple people, so there can be conversations.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm the
whereas
only guy who doesn't
for-
have a LaCroix now.
Yeah, you got to go get one.
Yeah,
dude.
see, just left out. Well,
I'm
we're
oranging it up, man.
Oranging it up.
Oranging
That's
it
right.
up.
But yeah, I do think that the conversations, but I enjoy our JRPGs, but I'm not an expert. I mean, I don't think I think
I mean, I'm
expertise
not an
would be.
expert.
You're our only expert. Just say you are.
No, I can't claim that expertise, man.
Jesus.
I would say that I am an expert in Smash Brothers history. Like I understand, I know a lot about Smash Brothers.
I'm an expert in the ways of love
I am not.
and the methods of pleasing a partner.
Yeah, you are. Tell us. Woo! What's
Sexpert.
the secret?
I mean, it's,
Cool, Greg with the Sexpert.
yeah, but
Marcus Hutchins says, have you guys played any of the NES Online games? Yes, I haven't. Jared has. We're going to talk about it on this show.
woohoo! Jeffrey's asking about Red Dead. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a lot about Red Dead.
Yeah.
Tim?
First LaCroix ever. Right here.
They're not
don't
good.
expect much.
Yeah,
I'm telling
they're
you right
not
now.
I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, good. I mean, it is just fucking
LaCroix
it's
first
sparkling water.
impressions. First impressions of LaCroix?
Light.
Light. There we
That's
are.
a very good way to describe it.
I like Cameron.
Unobtrusive.
The orange is unobtrusive for sure.
Mild.
Cameron says Easy Allies is kind of funny with a tucked in shirt.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. That's
No, kind of funny is Easy Allies with the shirt hang off and swinging over the head.
yeah, that's true.
Right.
Kind of funny. It's just Easy Allies with its shirt off. Vince Patel, great meeting you by the way. He says, "How many cans of LaCroix do you think are still left?" I would say we're through over half.
No, I'd say there's slightly over half.
Yeah,
I can confirm that.
there's slightly over half left.
Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That's
And I
exciting.
have made my pick for next Tuesday's our Hall of Greats.
Yeah.
Number 7 induction ceremony.
Yeah.
And I have picked my game for Hall of Greats. And I'm
Ooh.
ready. I've yet to have a game inducted.
Is it Metal Gear?
It's not Metal Gear.
Mr. Yasmin says, "Is
Metal Gear's
Jared
already in there.
cosplaying as Tommy Vercetti from GTA Vice City?"
No, this is my leftover shirt from my Doc Brown cosplay at the Kind of Funny prom party.
Yeah, I want
and
that shirt so
I
bad.
just have the shirt laying around. So I put it on, I've got my underneath, I've got my Japanese few dollars more movie poster shirt on.
Such
There
a
you
dope
go.
So I got that there. And then this hat I just have because it kind of fits.
Kind of fits.
Kind of fits, yeah. So.
Yeah, this morning Jared walked into the room and looked at me and he was just like, "Hey, does this hat go with this shirt?" He's like, "I don't understand clothes. Does this hat go with this shirt?" And I had to be honest. And I was like, "No, Jared. But to be fair, nothing goes with the shirts.
There we go.
Like that shirt is a decision. And like you're committing to it. Anything goes with it, but you need to understand that that just means nothing does."
Tim, I have Vans that match that shirt perfectly. It's
Yeah?
the same pattern.
That doesn't mean they go well together.
They
Just because they
absolutely-
match doesn't mean they go
absolutely
well.
go well together. If you fucking full on commit to the matching shirts and shoes with that outfit,
Can't be too matchy match.
Oh my god, with that,
Thanks,
I think
Brandon.
it's totally fine. You're crazy.
Oh wait,
My
Brandon.
electric blue.
Oh wait, who? Ignacio? Doesn't Jared hate Back to the Future? I love Back to the Future. It's one of the best movies ever made. What are you talking about, Ignacio?
Just getting them wrong.
You don't like number 3, right?
I don't like 2 and 3. Yeah,
You don't
the
like
fir-
2?
The first
Three's a
one.
Western, though.
The first one's a masterpiece.
2 is the
Two-
best of the series.
2 is a grease fire. 2 is the
What?
best of the series.
I think that's the first time I've disagreed with Kevin today.
Fire that
no,
man.
No.
Two's so good. It's more of one and then the future. Oh,
Going back to 1 is cool.
yeah,
That's
it's
neat.
really cool.
Seeing a director mess with his own movie is fun to watch.
I
but-
just want to douse you in kerosene.
Do it, you coward.
Wow.
Jonathan Ness says, "How many times has Brandon been on the show now?"
4. This is my 4th.
Oh yeah,
This is
you've been
number
on.
4.
I feel like you've been on Game Over Greggy show at least once.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Gamescast. This is your
This might be my second Gamescast. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and then we had Games Daily today. I feel like you've been on a lot more. We have you on the E3 shows all the time too.
And we see each other at events, so it's hard.
yeah. Can you scroll up a little bit, Kev? Thank you. A little bit down. Okay, there we go. Marcus Hutchins says, "Brandon, do you have a favorite console from growing up?"
Super Nintendo.
Hell yeah, baby. Let's go.
Bro, that's PlayStation all the way.
Because NES was great, and that was like my first one was the Atari 2600, but I was bad at NES games.
Yeah.
There's so many
How
NES
old
games
are
I
you?
popped in, and I'm like, this game's fun. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
But Super Nintendo started to
Hell
get into
yeah.
my teens. And
Do you feel like you were getting better, or the games
Yeah.
were getting a little more forgiving?
I was just getting better, getting older, understanding things more. Like loved Punch Out, but just could not.
Punch Out is hard
Could
as
not
fuck.
compete
Yeah.
for
Especially
damn.
the NES version.
Yo,
Like,
NES Punch Out is a beautiful video game, but it's one of those moments where like Nintendo just like threw it down. They're like, here's the game, here's the code to get to the final boss.
Right.
fuck
Go
you.
for it.
Try.
Yeah,
I
and
dare you.
It's one of those games that you can only beat by like learning and playing.
When is
out.
Boston making his Kind of Funny debut? Tim, you ever get this where people ask you to like tell Greg to just do something? And you're
Yeah.
like, well, what makes you think
Yeah,
that I have any kind
I
of
don't know.
agency over this other person I
we
work
need to-
with?
Like, he's welcome anytime.
to
We got to
make
figure
requests.
that out. The problem is, you guys are in LA. We're here, and it's so close, but it's so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Looks
It's
close on
it
the
has
map.
to be in
Looks close on the map, but
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
it's like it's
Right.
a little too far, and it's like an event to have us.
But you have to understand
place.
how excited Kyle gets when he doesn't have to do something.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you'd have to pay him basically. Like he just
I can relate really
It's-
fucking
it's hard.
dude.
it's hard.
Oh man, I feel like Kevin knows more than anyone in the world how excited I am to not have to do things.
It's the best.
I was trying to have a conversation with my mom about how you hate traveling,
Yeah.
and it was so upsetting.
Why?
It's like, because you know that you'd rather just stay in your room for vacation.
Yeah.
But like, she just refuses to accept that anyone wants that.
What? Just that you just want to have peace and quiet and be left alone?
Yeah.
No
She's like,
kidding.
no. Like, it just was frustrating.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
It's
I'm
like
gonna spend.
You don't know this argument you're making.
Yeah.
I'm spending next week in a cabin in the woods with no one. No internet, no phone, no TV.
See, you're doing it wrong too.
Really? How come?
I want to be alone in a room with internet.
Oh, okay. So I'm not really alone. I can't get away from work that way. If I have internet, I'm going to check on work.
Yeah.
No
I'm just
games you
going
want to
to.
play?
See, I like work.
What's that?
You're not taking your Switch?
I'll probably take my Switch, but I'm not going to have it hooked up to the internet.
Well, but you got plenty.
I'm
of games.
going to bring my Kindle, a couple of paperbacks, a notebook, and my Switch. That's probably it.
Is
Mark
your
Freeman
wife
says,
going?
Tim, did you get over jet lag yet? I don't know what the fuck happened, but jet lag seemed to work in my favor both going to and coming from London. Like
You become superhuman.
I'm having
Wow.
I'm having a better sleep schedule than I've had in a long time.
Maybe you like
nice.
maybe you just like past that point where you traveled so much
I don't know.
that it somehow resynchronized
He
you.
doesn't usually travel longer than like 5 hours away.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it's not. Usually, I'm not going to different countries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like East Coast.
I mean,
is the
but I
most-
can't fall asleep on planes, and if I do, it's like for like 20 minutes, and then I wake up. So yeah, the 10-hour flight was fucking hard from London for sure.
Can I tell you how great it is just to be sitting down here with you again doing this show?
It's been a while. My
It
friend.
has.
It has been
too
way
long.
too long.
And
I
I
miss
love
people.
doing this
I
with
miss
you.
doing the show.
I missed you doing the show. I mean,
I've been out there fucking on stages in front of a bunch of people, like just yelling cunt. We could say it there.
Wow.
Can't say it here.
You
Greg,
said it here.
like I saw in the chat earlier, Mark Freeman had a count of how many times Greg said it on just one panel, and it was an excessive number. It was like 42 or something, and that's just a 1 hour panel.
It's a fun word to say. I've always said it.
I
don't work here.
I'm an anti C word person.
You just used it. Don't
I
be
You
said
gotta,
it,
you gotta
but-
draw the line somewhere. dude.
Yeah, and that's where I do it.
I don't work here.
Actually, I draw it like pretty farther back than that.
Last of Us is not in Hall of Greats. Hubert tried.
What is it
He
not?
offered a Last of Us.
What?
But
If it's not, then what is?
we've only done 6 so far. 2 get in every time. So there's like 12 games in there. So
Okay.
Okay.
You can Super Metroid's in there. Metal Gear Solid's in there.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time's in
Wait,
there.
wait,
You're hitting the
wait,
right
wait,
stuff.
wait,
The Last
wait.
of Us isn't?
Which
Last of Us
Metal
is not in
Gear?
there. Solid.
Okay.
PS1.
No, Last of Us is not a top
terrible.
12 all-time video game. It'll be a while, I think, before if they're going from like the things that have to go in and working their way back, like Baseball Hall of Fame style. It's going to take a while to get The Last of Us.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are.
What's
for
the
this,
most
but-
like recent?
The rules are whatever wins.
What's the most recent game to go in there?
Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door.
Good game.
And
That's in there?
yeah.
Because
And Last of Us isn't?
Because it all depends on what people bring. So if we all bring really weird stuff, like the weird games get in there. And I can't remember what got in at the same time. 2 Resident Evil games got in at the, RE4 and RE GameCube remake got in at the same
okay. Okay.
session.
Solid calls.
RE4 and RE Remake. Yeah, these are both great. Actually, if I'm looking and thinking 1,000-Year Door, Last of Us, which do I want to play? 1,000-Year Door, definitely.
It's
All
not
right.
about wanting to play. It's about what's a better game.
I rest my case.
No. I love 1,000-Year Door. The Last of Us is fucking.
I love
amazing.
Last of Us, but no, man. I don't know.
Chance Carter said, "Did Tim remember to email you, Demetrius?" I had a phone call with him today. I think that's an even
shit.
better situation, and it went well. Mark Freeman says the count was 22 in the Nintendo Power Hour, and not just Greg, and 19 in the Kind of Funny panel, 8 wankers, and just 1 on the Nintendo Power Hour. Why did they let us into the country? Like it was a disaster. They just kept putting us on stages, and anytime Greg had a mic, he would just scream the most horrible things. Like it's not okay there. It's still bad to call someone it.
Yeah, I'm horribly embarrassed and terrified by the implications of this discussion. That's not a joke.
Marcus Hutton says, I still need to play Resident Evil 4. Has it aged well? Yes. Resident Evil 4 is timeless.
Yep, I agree. Do you still?
Oh,
love
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I think the Wii edition's still my favorite, actually.
Yeah, dude, the aiming was great.
Yeah, the aiming worked really well.
Yeah, Alfredo played that game at my house. He beat it in like 2 nights. Just like he slept over and just like would not leave the TV and just kept playing the Wii version.
it pioneered the over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. I mean, that's really it. Kind of created that genre, and yet transcended most of what came after.
Yeah.
It's far more memorable than most of the games that it inspired, and that's very strange.
And speaking of Last of Us, excellent New Game Plus game.
Oh yeah.
When you're done with RE4, you've got to start over and just tear through the opening of that game with better weapons.
Yeah.
Like, love it.
Mr. Yasmin said, Tim, do you see that Hulu is reviving Veronica Mars? I did. My brother's extremely excited.
Whatever happened to the movie? Did that come out?
It came out. Yeah, the one that was kickstarted.
Yeah, was it,
It was pretty good too. I watched it. I love Veronica Mars.
Chris H says, I don't think the Resident Evil games are good.
Okay. It depends on the game.
Interesting opinion. I mean, I'd say overall, there's probably more bad than good at this point, but
RE1 was good when you first played it, and Remake is still fun.
Yeah, Remake holds up.
RE2 was fun then, and I think the version that's coming out soon will be fun, based on what I've played of it.
RE4, though, is
4 is kind of timeless. Yeah. I'm actually more excited for RE2 Remake, because RE2 was my old favorite. Even though 4 is kind of objectively a better game, 2 I just love. And the idea of 2 getting the RE4 treatment is just great.
I mean, 2 was like, just the idea of it. It's like, oh, now it's in a city. It just felt cooler.
Yeah.
You know?
It's got the branching paths, different
with you on that.
characters. It's big, different games kind of with for each character, but they intersect in really interesting ways.
Resident Evil 1, though, like, Spencer Mansion is one of the most iconic video game locations of all time. And it's like just so cool how well designed it was, where it's like, people don't really think of Resident Evil as a Metroidvania style game, but it kind of was.
Totally is. Totally is.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's that and an adventure game had a baby. It's like if like an old point and click adventure game with nonsensical puzzles and like a Metroidvania had a baby, then you would end up with RE1. Going for the 3-hour rocket run and RE Remake is still fun. Like trying to finish the game in 3 hours is spectacular. It's really a lot of fun.
I remember I read the Resident Evil novelization. It was something. It was something.
If I could have an ideal job, I would like transport in time back to the 90s and write novelizations of PlayStation games. Like that would be my. If I could do anything in the world, I think that's what I'd do.
I would love to read Crash Bandicoot, the novelization by Jared Petty.
We can arrange that.
Yeah.
Would you like me to get started?
That sounds like a gold tier.
Get on it. Bean Toast says, sorry I'm late. I love your content on Easy Allies, Brandon. What's up, Tim and Jared?
Thanks, Bean Toast.
Thank you, Bean Toast. You are amazing. Kevin, you ready to get this show going?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Are you guys ready to get the show going?
am.
Let's do it, man.
Man, I'm excited you're here.
It's going to be a good one.
missed you. I like you, Tim.
Thank you, Jared. I like you, too.
That's a mistake.
You ready, Kev?
I mean, we're going.
Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 188 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the Reverend Jared Petty.
Doki doki.
It's our first time on Gamescast. It's the first time on a show together in a long time.
It has been a very long time.
Yeah.
I have missed you tremendously.
Thank
We're talking
you.
about this in the pre-show. It just doesn't feel right. I'm stealing this from somebody else, but it kind of felt like Ed McMahon hosting the Tonight Show. Like I don't belong in that chair. This is the Tim Show. This is where you belong.
I really appreciate that.
But more than that, I just miss the warmth. I miss the enthusiasm, the vibe, the balance. The
hype, baby.
Absolutely.
That's
The
what
hype.
it is.
That's what you got.
And ladies and gentlemen, joining us once again on the Kind of Funny Gamescast, Brandon Jones.
I
of
also missed
Easy
you a lot.
Allies. Thank you. I missed you. It's been way too long since
Yeah,
I've
it has.
seen you. When's the last time I saw you? I guess it was E3.
E3, probably.
Yeah. I love E3. I can't wait for the next one.
I love that you're already
It is-
thinking,
yeah.
I love it too. Let's get started. Let's go.
already
Let's go.
fucking get in
Roll it
there.
around there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every week we get together, talk about video games, all the things that we love about them. You can get the show early by going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. For just $1, you can watch it live along with us. For a couple more dollars, you can get the audio or video early. And the video includes the pre and post show that we do for this. It was a good one today. A solid 20 minutes of high quality content. I was there. Jared was there. Brandon was there.
Joey was there.
Joey was there for a bit of it too. It was fun for everybody. Or you just get the show for free on Mondays at 9 a.m. on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or on podcast services all over the place, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Get hyped about that. Today we got a fun show, and it is brought to you by Patreon producers Warren Moore, Eric Heitz, and Tom Bach, the legends.
Yeah. The legends.
Kevin, do I need to do some shout outs or something? It wasn't on the calendar, but
No, if it's
okay.
not on the calendar, it's not
Cool.
there.
Tom Bach showing up, supporting us at PAX. Fantastic dude. Love
He
that
is
guy.
amazing.
Best.
Yeah, he's great.
How was your PAX?
My PAX was great. It was wonderful. The panels went wonderful. The Superman panel was a lot of fun. It was completely devoured by the Twitch stream, but the backup copy exists, and I'm patching it together from 3 different pieces of footage / audio.
Yeah.
I got a middle section, the one where Greg talks, where all I have is audio. So I really want somebody to animate it. I'm hoping to get somebody to animate it, and then finally patch that whole thing together.
Cool.
The Red Dead panel was a ball. Red Dead Live with the What's Good Games folks and John Ryan. Had a great time there. Of course, at the tournament, got my butt kicked.
Yeah.
That was delightful. It was my first PAX West. Had a
Wow.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
never been there
man.
before. Had a wonderful time just
PAX
walking
West
around.
is a good one. One of my favorite conventions for sure.
Spectacular. Hit that Pink Gorilla booth. Shout out to Pink Gorilla. Great stuff there. Walking around, bought a bunch of dice. Bought $100 of dice.
Feeling lucky.
That might have been a mistake.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot
How
of
many
money.
dice is that?
That's a lot of dice.
Okay.
A lot of really weird
Yeah, yeah,
dice.
yeah.
But
Were you at PAX, Brandon?
My first PAX I skipped in many years.
Yeah.
I intentionally skipped it this year.
Intentionally.
For a very special event that
which
I'm so
was?
happy that I went to. Mr. John Williams at the Hollywood Bowl. He does it that weekend every year. And
you've always had to miss
my
it.
wife always goes. And so it'll be,
That sounds
I'll be back at the
amazing.
hotel and I'll get some video text from her of like everyone's
Yeah.
on lightsabers, like doing the bit. And
Was that as rad
I think
as
it
it
was the
sounds?
40th or 50th anniversary of him playing the bowl.
Oh my
So
God.
not just him like composing music or anything, specifically at the bowl. Spielberg was there. They played
that's
the
so cool.
opening of Last Crusade without the music. So it's just Foley and dialogue and sound effects and stuff. And then he like played the music live over it. And I just like he's like my favorite artist.
Yeah.
did they do
Bar none.
Superman?
They did not do Superman. You can't do everything. Didn't do Harry Potter. Didn't do Jurassic
Oh my God,
Park.
wow.
Didn't do yeah.
No Jurassic Park.
Jurassic
That's
Park.
surprising.
And he'll play some stuff he didn't write, just stuff inspirations and stuff.
Really?
He played Psycho one year that I went, and like everyone cracked up when it got to like the shower scene,
yeah.
and he finished and turned around and he was like, "That's hilarious, isn't it?" He's like, "I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
funny that is when you're in a social setting like this."
Oh
But-
man, that's so cool. Yeah, no, I've been unfortunately missing PAXs because of stupid weddings the last couple of years.
Stupid weddings.
It's just like
suck.
I was on such a hot streak with PAX where I was at every PAX West and East, and then
Holy matrimony.
Now missed-
oh,
missed
man.
2 years in a row.
Lifetime commitment.
and I think next year I already have another fucking wedding that weekend.
Why don't
like
you say
already
no to,
confirmed.
Say no. Go to PAX.
Jared, I wish that that's how life worked. You know what I mean? All these stupid friends and their stupid wives.
I have absolutely just not gone to weddings. There
Yeah.
are times you just don't go to a wedding.
The problem is that it's the cycle where it's like I'm that age and Gia's a year younger than me, so now she's the age. So it's like we're just getting through all my friends. Now next year's all her shitty friends. I hate all this shit, man. Stop. Love needs to stop.
Yeah, you know
everybody.
If somebody's getting remarried, you got to draw the line there too.
Yeah.
No way.
Absolutely.
Not
Yeah.
going to be there the second
ain't
time.
doing that.
Maybe we could like inject you with a slow acting poison and then hide the antidote at PAX. And the only way for you
I
to
gotta
survive.
go to PAX.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to do it. You gotta do it.
Oh man, it has been quite the travel season. But thank God for the Switch. Being able to play that thing on the plane, it has been awesome. Speaking of the Switch,
Yeah.
the online service launched this week.
It has arrived.
Did you get it yet?
Not at all.
I didn't get it yet either.
Haven't touched it
I know
at all.
it's been nuts, but I'm again flying tomorrow to a goddamn wedding. But this one's in Disneyland, so I'm pretty excited about that. But I'm gonna download the Switch Online stuff today,
Yeah.
so I get to mess around with the NES games. But you got it.
I did. I grabbed it. It's a pretty painless download. It's a very easy process to get into. Not a lot of barriers to entry. I was able to pay for most of my year one subscription with my whatever little gold coins are called that you get for buying stuff. I forget the name of them. And hopped in, and yeah, the 20 streaming / on your Switch games are great. I don't think they're actually streaming because NES ROMs are so tiny.
Yeah.
I suspect they're just stuck in cache somewhere, and then it's like, did you check in this week? You know, and
yeah,
something
yeah.
in the software is checking.
Is it streaming? I thought it was straight up download.
I think that it's just an app. Like it's another little app in there. It's like, here's your NES. And then when I'm offline, it's fine. It just works the same as it does anywhere else, but it does have some neat features. It's got online multiplayer, which I fooled around with some. I actually hopped on as soon as I downloaded it and streamed it on Twitch that night. And I played a lot of stuff, including with some people in the chat. Played Mario Brothers online, like the classic one-on-one,
sorry.
arcade. Oh no, Mario Brothers is good with 2 people.
No, it's not.
No, you
It's
don't
not
like
good
it?
with any amount of people.
Oh.
Mario Brothers is a fucking atrocious video game.
Expound.
I first off hated how it was packed into every Mario Brothers Advance game on the GBA, because give us some different mini games. Like Mario 64 DS, the mini games were great. You know what I mean? Stop giving us the same game over and over and over. Where it's like, I don't believe anybody actually enjoys it. I feel like it controls horribly compared to Super Mario Brothers. Like
it controls
the key to Mario is that it feels good to play.
Slippery.
Mario Brothers is so slippery. It's like playing Luigi in a Mario Brothers game if he had oil on his feet. But it's so
a
bad.
very deliberate slipperiness. It's the same way that like you play old survival horror games. We were talking about Resident Evil earlier.
Yeah.
And if you don't have tank controls, they're not scary anymore unless you completely rebuild the game from the ground up. In the same way, Mario Brothers is not fun if you have precise control.
With
what it takes.
unprecise control, it's not fun either.
Especially this is the inspiration for Super Mario Brothers Wii and Super Mario's Wii U. The whole like cooperative, competitive. I am just a fan of games where you can be a complete jerk to the person you're playing with.
You can be a jerk in some of those multiplayer ones. What's the one where like they actually account for you in physical space? So if you jump and a friend jumps at the same time and you bop their head, you'll like knock them down.
New Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you get a lot of. Well, this one. That's where this is where they get that idea. It's the same.
Yeah.
Have you played Mario Brothers? Right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you like it?
Have not played it in a long time.
So
I can visualize it. That's about it. I don't get any like.
I'm going to make
contact.
I'm going to make
memories.
this argument. It's slippery, but it's consistent. It's precise. It's not like you do the same thing twice and it feels kludgy or anything like that. It's just a matter of getting a feel for the controls. Once you understand how far you can move before jumping and how to turn in midair, it's great. You're fine. It just takes a little while to get that down. And I'd argue that those remake minigame pack-ins that you were talking about actually refined the controls quite a bit.
They did, and it was definitely a lot better. I just feel like the game is, when compared to either Super Mario Brothers, obviously is worse, and also compared to Donkey Kong, it's worse. I feel like Donkey Kong is an example of challenges and the controls working against you, but in a way that feels like it's meant to feel that way in the video game. Whereas the example you brought up about Resident Evil and it not being scary if there's not tank controls, with Mario, there's not fear, there's not scariness, there's not any of that. It's literally just about the gameplay. And I feel like the gameplay is backwards.
It's a game about looking a second ahead. It's not a game about reacting the way that Super Mario Brothers is. It's a game about knowing that crab is there, and that means that in about 1.5 seconds he'll be here, so it's time for me to move and jump.
Yeah.
It's like playing Dark Souls. It's about looking ahead.
The original Dark
Mario
Souls.
Brothers, the Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like Monster Hunter, same way. It's about looking ahead, figuring out exactly what time commitment you can get into. But let's not dwell too much on Mario Brothers. I like the service. I don't know if it's worth what I'm paying for it. $20 a year is
$20
is really not too bad. But right now, what I'm really getting for it is the ability to play a few good NES games that I've mostly been able to play other places, and trading that
for
off
$5 each.
Yeah, but I probably would only have bought 6 or 7 of these. Well, no, I'd probably bought 14 to 15.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but you only need to buy 4 of it for it to be the price of a year.
Again, I'm not going to go off on a rant here. Ultimately, the ability to play ice hockey online with another person is worth $20 a year to me. Right there, that's it. Because ice hockey is the best NES hockey game, except for Kunio hockey, but that's a whole other argument. Anyway, there's a lot of good games on this thing. Have y'all seen the lineup?
So yeah, saw the lineup. I saw a video today. Like, I'm so excited to get it. I've just been busy doing stuff, but I saw a video of the interface, and it's beautiful. I love the look that it has. With
some people say the
box
box art's too big, but I don't know. I just love looking at that library that way.
I love that, and like the organization eventually might get a little cumbersome, but I'm sure they'll come up with folders or some system.
They're only adding 3 games a month at this point, so that means this time next year there's still only about 50 games.
Yeah, I think they'll give bigger batches. Eventually.
I hope, because that's one of my complaints. If I'm sitting popping to $20 a year, and I think about, Virtual Console when it launched gave me 5-6 new games a week
for $5 a piece.
But this one gives me 3 new games a month. And I'm just like, and I understand their pricing model, but it's not. They can do better. They have done better. If I had to choose between this and Virtual Console all the way.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Absolutely. Now, maybe what this is in 5 years, but what they've shown me so far is okay. But now they do choose some good games.
I love how snappy it looks. I love that it's an app, that all the games are in one place, and I believe that they're going to add stuff at a more substantial rate than we're seeing currently for the rest of this year.
Why do you believe that?
Just because I think that this is the gateway point to get people in, and once Smash Brothers comes out, and there's like another huge boon of online play going on the Switch, because right now it's Splatoon and it's Mario Kart, but you know, those had been free for so long that paying for it kind of feels backwards. Whereas with Smash, it'll be like from day one, that's the service. I think as that grows and as the user base grows, Nintendo's going to want to keep giving people reasons to want to stay subscribed.
That makes sense.
And I think that right now we're at the early points where it seems kind of dire, but I think that sooner than later it's going to be more similar to Netflix than in its current incarnation.
If that's where it's headed, I'm much more in favor of it. And again, for all the griping, let's look at the good games that are there. River City Ransom, Super Mario 3, Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda. There's a lot of really... Ice Hockey, I'm not joking. Ice Hockey is a great game. There's a lot of really good stuff in this pack. There's also some crap. Soccer's there. No one's Yoshi's there. Who cares?
I've never played Yoshi.
Don't.
Yeah.
Okay. It's one of the 2 Yoshi themed puzzle games on NES. Neither one of them is worth your time.
Did Yoshi come out after Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo?
Yes, I'm almost positive it did. It's one of the really late NES games. Yoshi and Yoshi's Cookie are both very late games.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's one of the either Yoshi or Yoshi's Cookie might be the last U.S. release. It's right up there in that area. It's really close to that period of time because they were releasing NES games into the early 90s.
Like I didn't know, because I mean I didn't have the NES until later after my Super Nintendo even, but I didn't realize that Kirby's Adventure didn't come out until towards the end.
It's a very
of the
late
NES
game.
life cycle.
There's
I thought it was pretty early.
Probably why I wasn't that familiar with it.
Yeah, it's one of the most
time.
beautiful. That's why it's so beautiful. They've learned to master the thing, like because that is a gorgeous NES game, and super smooth. But there may have been a school of thought. People have argued this, that like maybe older kids were going to pass their NES down to their younger siblings, and they might have gone more kiddie game with things like Kirby and like, hey, what's going to appeal to younger players? And that might be why it came out so late. But nobody's really sure about that I've ever heard. Yeah. So yeah, that's my take on the service. The online multiplayer is a lot of fun. I haven't played local multi with anybody yet, so I don't know what that's like. I assume it's great. I've been playing handheld mode and on my TV. I've had a lot of fun with both. I've not had any trouble with the Joy-Cons on anything except Ghosts and Goblins, where I just gonna have to play that with the Pro Controller. That game is so janky anyway. The NES version of Ghosts and Goblins I love, but it is not good. That is not a good video game. Got to play that.
It's unkind.
Yeah, and it feels like it always feels like it's just like about to explode your television. Like there's something wrong with that game. I think if you play it long enough, it comes to life and like gains sentience and tries to start World War III. And so that's my. Do you like it? Do you like Ghosts and Goblins?
If you're lucky. Yeah, the Super was the. I think it was it Ghouls and Ghosts when it was on Super Nintendo?
Yeah, that's good. It's Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah, that was the only controller that made me break controller, or the only game that made me break equipment.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
I yanked that. I was so pissed, and I yanked the controller so hard that it like, you know, pulled the just busted it as it came out of the Super Nintendo. Game made me mad.
Once Super Dodgeball is available to play online, my entire attitude will completely shift to pro this.
I think a reason that I'm so high on it is that they are trying to make these games better by adding online features and adding, like they're making them the definitive versions of the games in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think you're taking a healthy perspective, Tim. I'm grumpy about this because I bought a Wii in 2006, and I have wanted online multiplayer for NES games for 12 years. Yeah. And now I'm finally getting it in a form that only gives it to me with a few games that I can't just grab the ones I already bought or just buy them again and have it finally. I
totally understand that. And of course, I want every Nintendo game I've ever bought to be able to be played on the Switch. Like that makes sense. But I just feel like there is no actual way to go back and be like, well, what games did they buy on the Wii versus the Wii U versus... I think this is good if everyone gets the same things. If you subscribe, you get the games. Yeah. Like, we're building towards a future. You see it with Spotify. You see it with Netflix. You see it with Xbox Game Pass. You see it now today with PS Now adding downloads for PS4 and PS2 classics. Like, we're going towards a future that in every form of media where... and this is also in comic books. It's also in digital books, where people want to be able to play anything, listen to anything at any given moment.
My problem is it's never anything. Now, I think there's a lot of virtue to a streaming future, but I've also discovered a situation where I will go out and look for particularly an older movie or an older television show, something I want to look at for historical value, or something that's not really in the mainstream of entertainment anymore. And I won't find it on Prime, and I won't find it on Netflix, and I won't find it on Hulu. I can usually find it on Amazon for sale.
Yeah.
Or for rent, but then I'm paying a fee to have it. If this follows that model, if I can run out and grab, if I can play my NES games that I know are going to be profitable streaming, that's fine. And I can spend $3 and buy Clash at Demon Head, which isn't available for streaming, but I still want to play it, I'm fine. But if they start leaving behind the little things that quote unquote nobody cares about, then we have fewer choices, not more.
Yeah.
And I don't like that future. I want the ability to not have them decide what I want. And that's what every streaming service does. It is not about you seeking out what you want. It is about them telling you in huge, bold Netflix letters at the top of your screen with an obnoxious trailer that starts whether you want it to or not. You want to watch this. You want to watch our thing we made and give us your money for it, and not what you think you're after. And I don't like people telling me what I find entertaining that I don't have a personal relationship with. I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me. I don't want some jerk in Palo Alto running Netflix to tell me.
American Vandal, really good show.
Yeah.
I just see it differently where I'm like, you're making a very good point. I just think that we're at a place now where it's easier to find anything you're looking for than it ever has been. I remember 10 years ago, if I wanted to watch Batman the Animated Series, I couldn't do that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that show was on TV, and if you didn't watch it, like maybe it was on DVD at some point, we had to wait for that to happen.
I had them all on VHS, but we weren't friends then, so it didn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like, it's stuck on VHS physically, and it's like, do you have a VCR? Like,
yeah.
And I feel like now it's at a point where it's like, Batman, not only is it on Blu-ray, it's also on streaming services. And guess what? Like, even if it wasn't, there's always YouTube. There's always somewhere to find the things to be able to play. And it's like, for you, what you're talking about, it's like, yeah, should there always be a legal way to get the things that you want? Yes, there should. But we all know that there's other ways to be able to play games and consume any of these.
But I don't want to live in that world. That's why not have it all? Because for a little while at the beginning,
because of licensing and
at
stuff.
the beginning of Xbox 360, at the beginning of Wii Virtual Console, it looked like we were going to get that for a little while. And that it didn't happen because money is terrible. Also, though, for all my griping, you're also making a spectacular point. We have so many options. And again, I bought the service because I want the service. I'm going on vacation. I'm taking my Switch up there. I'm going to play a whole lot of ice hockey up in the mountains.
You're so Jared, and I love it.
It's a really good game.
Ice hockey. I'm going to give it a shot. I've never played it. I'm going to give it a shot this weekend.
He's got little skinny guys and little fat guys, and it's a fun little hockey game. It's really good.
I guess I'm just really shocked at a lot of the feedback of the pricing of this online service. The online stuff I really could care less about. To me, I see this as a $20 subscription service for the year. And honestly, it's less than $20 because we're going to get a family account for the office, and it's $35 for 8 people, split across 8 people. Like, that's nothing. Like,
well, I think about families with kids. That's the main one for me. You've got like, hey, I've been playing on this game. I've been playing Mario Kart. I've been playing Splatoon. And then suddenly I'm not anymore. And $20, we talk about $20 like it's nothing. I used to live in Indiana. I used to live in North Carolina, where people are making real American national minimum wage, and $20 is sometimes the difference between keeping the lights on at the end of the week or not.
It's a year. It's $20 a year. Like, and I understand that, but you don't need it. Like, that's the thing is, like, $20 at this point gets you 20 NES games. Yeah. Some of the best games of all time, and some of the not so best games of all time. But then there's only going to be more. At this point, it is $1 a game. Next month, it's going to be less than $1 a game.
Yeah.
And these are the same games that I have bought on the Wii, on the Wii U, on the Game Boy Advance when they released them physically for $20 a piece.
I've probably spent $1,000 on Virtual Console in my life.
I think that, like, I am shocked that Nintendo is giving us Mario Brothers 1, Mario Brothers 3, Zelda for $20 a year.
It's a good start.
It is, and I do bet that they're going to add.
It's an okay start if it goes in the direction we hope it will. A year from now, you may find me much more on this thing, but I want to see it first. I want it in my hands. cautiously optimistic. Brandon, what about you? I mean, where do you fall in this whole thing?
It's funny that you brought up, you're like, I have very specific wants. I have a movie in mind and I want to go see it. I'm the total opposite with streaming services where I'm just like, all right, Prime, I'm
what do you got for me?
I'm cutting our podcast right now. Entertain me with something in the background. And it's just like, okay, some weird movie. Sure, I'll put that on. When like Spider-Man 3 popped up on Netflix, I was like, let's do this.
Let's do this.
See,
So I kind of like that, like the overlord coming in and being like, these are your entertainment options. It's like, I'm fine. I can make do with those.
So you just have a different perspective on it completely.
And I think just at the point in my life, like which is really interesting to see once I get into this especially in the months ahead, how much value I get out of the game selection, because like not as focused on TV and film as I was in my youth, in my 20s, I think. I'm like pretty much mostly games now.
Yeah.
As far as like something that's like, that's coming out at this point, I'm going to absorb that then. But like, I didn't see Solo until like 3 days ago because I was like, I'm fine.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm totally fine putting stuff off unless it's a game I'm really excited about. Then like, gotta play that immediately.
Sidebar, how do you cut video and watch a movie at the same time? My eyes would melt if I tried that.
It's nice just putting something on in the background, just something dumb. Like if I know something's going to export, or if like it's a podcast, I can play a game. I played Dragon Quest 11 while I'm listening to the podcast. So I'm just like setting markers for the timestamps, and here comes podcast halftime. I got to cut that part.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's fun if I'm editing a long project. It's nice to put on something visually exciting, but not like something I would actually want to watch. Just some dumb movie.
You're like the bionic
like Matthew
woman.
Broderick
You're
and Inspector
awesome.
Gadget. Put that on in the background. Sure, let's do it.
Hell yeah, dude. Man, I saw that in theaters, and I was jazzed. Moving on from Nintendo Switch Online, Capcom Brawler Collection. This is a Jared Petty game. Oh, you've been playing this too?
We streamed it. That was our group stream game this week. Yeah.
All right, why don't you jump in on this then?
Oh, this is great. It's so great to play these types of games, to just devour them super fast. And I love how different all of them are. They're in the same genre, but they're just like the styles wildly different. Some are like very sci-fi, some are very anime, some are very like, fantasy based. And just a sense of power playing something that is in the arcades, and every single time that continue comes up, you're like free, like every time.
Yeah.
And I loved that it got announced, it was released like right away.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know it was out.
We played it on PS4, but I think this is just a dynamite pickup on the Switch.
Yeah.
If you're into that genre, because there's got to be a game in there you've never heard of.
Are you playing on Switch?
I'm playing on Switch right now, yeah, and I've really enjoyed it. These are games that I have a lot of affinity for, several of them anyway. And I like the fact that you can just be like, hey, look out to the internet. Do I want to play a specific game? Or I can just look and see if anybody's playing any Brawler right now. And if they are, I can just hop right in. Like,
that's cool.
And that's a very neat feature. I love, of all of these, Captain Commando sold me immediately. I love Captain Commando. I beat it as a kid. It used to be in a like a university lobby in my hometown, and some friends of mine and I was a 3-player brawler, and we just pumped quarters in one night and blazed our way through it. This is a game where one of your heroes is a baby driving a mech suit. Another one is like a mummy ninja. I mean,
Mummy Ninja sounds cool.
Yeah, it's a great game. Captain Commando is a really iconic, awesome brawler with weird, wild art, and it's just like it's just like Final Fight, but better because it's weird.
Yeah.
And that's really all there is to it. But I think I'll play all of these games online every few months. I'll just I'll pop on, I'll find some friends, or I'll have friends over, play through it all for an hour, and not touch that game for months and months.
Yep.
And then maybe a year from now, I'll be like, I think I'd like to play Captain Commando again. And for that price for that pack, I think that's a really good deal. Now, I have had some trouble with online. I've had some lag issues on Wi-Fi with my Switch. I don't know if that was just an isolated incident with somebody on the other end. How was your online
We
experience?
played on PS4.
Okay.
We didn't do it online. We just did
Okay.
that couch co-op.
Yeah.
And everything worked fine. But yeah, that has been an issue with brawlers in other collections in the past.
Okay. I can't speak. Again, I don't want to smear the game at all because that's a very anecdotal local experience. I don't think I have a broad enough body of work to say if that's a common thing. So I wondered if you had played online at all.
Had not.
Okay.
Yeah, one game you can punch off people's torsos, it's these types of games that have those fun surprises.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can strategize and you can okay, I'm going to see if I can beat this boss without dying, or you can just completely turn your brain off and just continue,
keep going.
continue.
Yeah, either way. And Knights of the Round is there. It's great things for a party if you're having friends over. Just pop in and do one of these.
Yeah, there's a ton of games in this.
Yeah, there's 7 of them.
Yeah.
And again, Knights of the Round is fun. Geez, what's the one?
Are
with
they
the dragon
different enough
called?
from each other, or are they all kind of just the same thing?
They're different.
No, they're very different.
Yeah,
Really?
very different. Yeah, they feel different. They look different. I mean, they're still about walking, punching, and doing a special move that costs you a little life.
Yeah.
But they all have a different vibe. One of them, I forget the name of it, almost feels like if Magic Sword and Golden Axe had a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that one called?
That was the first Dragon something, but I
Yeah,
can't remember.
I've played this one before. And
King of Dragons.
King of Dragons. Yeah, in arcades. And
classic.
I'm a cleric.
Feels good.
Always a cleric.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What about you?
Well, the cleric was ranged. I didn't play that. I just watched
Okay.
three of the other guys play it. But yeah, the cleric's great because he like doesn't start out that powerful, but then like his spells get more distance.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
and
yeah.
distance is a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Ranged is
By
fun.
the way, just a sidebar here too. As much fun as this is, and I do recommend this if you have friends to play it with, because you're not going to have a lot of fun with this single player. But if you got buddies, or maybe you would, I don't maybe disagree. I don't
Not for
know.
very long. I did co-op is the way to
Yeah,
of
co-op's the
course.
way to play. But D&D Shadow of Mysteria is available on some services right now. I have mine on Steam, but it's other platforms too. That is the ultimate co-op brawler. It is that or Scott Pilgrim. I'm not sure which. It's class-based with multiple branching paths and all kinds of weird hidden secrets. And it was an arcade game. But they just let's make a D&D arcade game that kind of feels like super weird, way too granular D&D, and it's beautiful and it's so good. Try that too. Cool. Dragon's Crown. It's kind of the game I think inspired Dragon's Crown.
Okay.
Brandon,
Yes.
you were playing a game called Castlestorm.
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with this.
Well, this is, I mean, you described, Joe, when you said this is a game that I can potentially play with friends and then forget about, and then 8 months later be cycling through my Switch. Oh, there it is. And that's like Castlestorm for me. This I played on the 360. I'm a big fan of tower defense, and it's a game that borrows a lot of different styles from other games, but kind of like crams them all together. So you are on one side of the screen, you have a giant castle. You can send troops out, and the point is either different missions have different very like jokey, like writing, jokey art style, kind of over the top, like fantasy humor. But the point is either to destroy the castle on the other side or to grab their flag and take it back to your base. And you have projectiles, spells, or your troops. And they're totally different buttons. So when you go to hit a button, it'll swap to that menu, and then you select the things on the menu with the shoulder buttons. So if I'm like, oh, I need to send some warriors out, I can just be like, why, send some warriors out, and then they'll just start walking along the path towards the castle. And then if I want to go back to the projectiles, then I can like shoot some javelins over their heads to take out some guys. But there's friendly fire, so I gotta watch not to hit them. And if you up the difficulty, it takes away the actual to be able to see the arc of stuff that you're shooting. And then there's spells where you can like buff a troop, or the first spell that you learn is like the hero of the game, the knight guy. Like you can physically like zoom into the bridge and like pop onto there and manually go around and fight dudes. And I just love tower defense, so it was just like right up my alley when I played on 360. And I saw it was on Switch, a couple bucks. I was like, sure, I'll give me another reason to play through that game.
Cool.
Did you ever play Archon?
No.
Okay, I think this sounds a lot like if Archon were a tower defense game.
Okay.
It seems like a lot of fun. Okay, I was just wondering. That was an useless comment if you haven't played Archon. So let's move on.
But there's missions are totally linear. Each mission takes like 3 minutes to finish, and so it's just a great game. So I love having it on Switch. It's just a great game that like you don't need to remember where you were at. You can go back and replay levels. You get money from beating every level, and so you can then like level up any of the troops that you want, any of the projectiles or spells and stuff.
Have you guys played Kingdom Rush?
Oh yeah,
the mobile game.
Yeah.
Is it anything like that?
No, because this is specifically like a fighting game. Like it's like castle here, and everyone's going sideways back and forth.
Okay, cool.
Whereas Kingdom Rush is more.
I love Kingdom Rush.
Kingdom Rush is really great.
So addicted to it.
Origins is great too. They made at least 2 sequels, I think.
Huh, I don't think I got into those.
Yeah, really fun. Again, fun fantasy parody.
Yeah,
they make fun of Lord of the Rings. And
yeah.
all sorts of other stuff.
The only game I've been playing a lot of, especially on my flights to London, was again The Messenger. Have you been playing The Messenger?
I have not touched The Messenger, but yeah.
You got it, man. If you're a fan of 2D platformers,
Messenger and Dead Cells are 2 games that are just like
both
whenever you're ready.
Oh man, and Dead Cells is so good, but so frustrating. But Messenger, man, what a damn game. The more I play it, the more I'm just in love with it, and like the higher it's going up my game of the year list. Like it really. We talked about it on a couple shows ago, but like it reminds me so much of Shovel Knight. Where it's like this game is not just Ninja Gaiden. This game is its own thing, and it just keeps surprising me. Like I finally got to the big twist part, and I love that there's story reasons for why things are happening, and it reminds me of Celeste in that way, where it's like we're finally at a point where 2D platformers can be more than just go to the right and jump over things and
it does such a good job of fooling you into thinking that's what it is when you start. But this game
starts
turns
off
it
so simple.
This game turns it up to 11. It really does. It's extraordinary storytelling. What a year!
What a damn year! Man. It's so cool, and yeah, I love the messenger. To me, it's not like crazy difficult, but some of the boss fights give me just enough trouble. Like I died just the right amount of times where it's not horribly frustrating. It's like when I overcome it, I'm like, I learned the pattern. I did this right. And it's just, I love that somehow video games have matured over the last couple decades where back in the day, you're facing a boss and it's just learn the pattern or else you're going to fucking die. But now I just feel like when they're aware of how people play games.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just figuring out a pattern. It's like figuring out a pattern and them kind of being 3 steps ahead of you of how you're thinking about tackling that issue. And I just feel like it's just more fun than it used to be.
Did you ever play Mega Man 9?
I did not.
I think the messenger steals a piece of design philosophy from that you're describing right now. Mega Man 9 is really based on Mega Man 2. You know, it was made like decades later, but it looks a lot like it, but it's also in design inspired by it. You remember the parts in Mega Man 2 where you'd hop from the little disappearing blocks? You'd ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Mega Man 9 has those too, but as somebody pointed out to me once, I don't remember who, it might have been Jeremy, when you're jumping on those blocks in Mega Man 9 from place to place, the designers know that you know how Mega Man blocks work. You've learned over the years. And so they work just the same way in terms of the mechanic, but when you hop on them, they subvert the expectation and appear at precisely the spot you think they wouldn't. And the designer has messed with you. And it's very clear the designer has messed with you. And they're like, you know how games work. You know how to get ahead of the... nope. And the messenger is like that over and over and
really
over
is.
again.
And not just in gameplay. I mean, I feel like it nails it in gameplay. Like I say from a gameplay perspective, this game is a 10 out of 10. Like it is just pure and amazing. But when you add on just the aesthetic and you add the dialogue and just the lore of what's going on.
And the humor.
And the humor, the story, all this stuff.
Really funny.
This game is obviously made by people that love video games and that know video games. And it's not just a retro throwback. It's like this is a modern game that is really just given a lot of shout outs to some of the best games of all time. And it's a special, special game.
It's almost an act of art critique itself.
Like totally.
It really is. And it took me forever to figure out what the jumping mechanic reminded me of. And then I was working on a blurb for IGN the other day. It reminds me of Klonoa. I couldn't place it. But the bit about grabbing something and using that to boost the jump is a lot like using the lamp system. And I was like, oh my gosh, this feels like Klonoa. It took me forever to figure out what it reminded me of. Weeks, but I finally nailed it. Actually, that was just last night. I was like, oh wait, that's what this is. It's Klonoa. But
video games are cool, man.
Yeah.
Video games are cool. Nick! It's time for the topic of the show. Red Dead Redemption 2. You guys got to play it.
We did.
The second preview event for this game?
I don't know.
I
think
there was at least one other one.
Yeah, there was one other one. I think
that we did not go to.
Sorry, do you want me to take my belt?
I didn't. You didn't need you to bring the. Yeah. Yeah. Can you shock mic it up?
Sure.
I mean, Nick, you could bring that, but the true champ today is Red Dead Redemption 2. You have been supplanted. You have been defeated
I have been supplanted
by a greater force.
I will live again. And don't ever use the word supplanted to describe me.
Supplanted?
I'm a simple kind of man. I am planted. That is what I am.
So I was in London, but while I was in London, you guys got to go play Red Dead Redemption 2, including Nick Scarpino.
We did. In a weird twist of fate, they let me go see that game.
Yeah.
Which I was very honored by. I was very honored by that.
It's exciting times. Was the event in San Francisco?
It was. Yeah, it was in San Francisco.
Did you come up here for it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you go back and forth?
This is my second SF trip in like 5 days. This is great.
We passed in the hall. Because it was like a one-on-one setup. And so we
Red Dead Bros.
Passed in the
little fist bump in the lobby.
Ships passing in the night. We did have the fist bump.
It was at the Spanish suite in the Clift Hotel, which they've done a lot of game demos for.
Yeah.
And I had been there. I don't think I've been there for it must have been 7 years since last time I went to a big media press. So I'm assuming I'm going to run into a bunch of people, and you can hear a pin drop quiet. And I text the person who set it up, and I was like, hey, I think I'm in the right place because there's crash service and stuff, but I don't want to be if I'm in the wrong place, let me know because I'll come. And he's like, oh, no, I'll be right out. Opens the door. It's me, It's him and another dev. That's it. And I was like, let me stop you. I am not worth your time. This is not, if there's someone better. No, I was like, I'm like, am I the only one? I'm like, am I the only one here? And they're like, yeah, it's just for you. And I'm like, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like what did I do?
But
like these poor souls are just.
But it's such a great marketing decision on their part, because this is a game that is not going to be the same if you're at a big crowded room full of people. This is not a game that you want to share with others while you're playing. It's a game you want to share with others after you play. Like most of Rockstar's best games, this is a game about water cooler talk. This is a game about telling your story and listening to other people's stories. But that's not what happens while you're there in the stream. That's what happens when you finish and you discover that you were both walking around the same world at the same power level, and therefore should have had very similar experiences, but you never do. You have your experience, and that's why setting it up that way, I think, was such a great decision. And good Lord, did it work? Am I ever sold on a video game? I have never enjoyed a demo more than this one.
Wow.
Never.
Wow. Brandon, what's your top level takeaway?
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. It was, a little stressful when they demoed the game and then handed me off the controller, and they're just like, okay, now go. And I'm like, no, with you looking at me, I'm going to be terrible at this. And it was fascinating with an open world game like this where, they wanted to steer the demo eventually back to the camp, and then you get a mission that wrapped up our time with it. But for a good half an hour, they were just like, go around and do whatever. And it was fun. I'm like, I want to hunt. I want to go get a deer. I want to check out this bow and arrow. And I love that it's not the type of game where they're like, oh, you go here, there's deer there. They're like, there might be. We don't know. We can kind of steer you, but we don't know how this world's going to react to what you're doing. And so they were kind of surprised. It was fun to see them demo stuff, and then, oh, wait, whoops, like, this, I didn't know that character was going to do something, or this person reacted, or you just can't count.
We were playing, and I came across a rotting deer carcass that was like an animal kill out in the distance. And I walk up to it, and near the carcass, there's nothing to salvage from it, but there's like something else in the grass out in this open area. So I walk over, and it's a dead possum laying over by the deer. So I reached,
stories being told here.
I reached down to pick it up, and the possum jumps up, hisses at me, and runs off of the wood because he was playing possum. And both like the people from Rockstar with me just start laughing like, we have never seen that. Like,
I was riding my horse when they first handed the controllers to me, and I looked over and we saw a snake, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll go. And they were like, be careful. And I didn't know why, but as I got over there, my horse started freaking out because the horse saw the snake and was like, started running the other way, and I had to like pat it and calm it down. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So, Nick, what was your takeaway from it?
I mean, that was, so obviously they played through the first one of the missions, and we watched them play like the first 30 minutes, and then they handed the controllers over. I was like, I really enjoyed watching them play, not expecting that they were actually going to give me the controller, largely because the game is just stunning. It's beautiful looking, and it was running at 4K what I saw on a PS4 Pro, and that was. You start. I assume you guys saw the same thing I saw. You start in the snow after you had sort of been on the run for a while. You're getting about on the run because they had a bad encounter in the last town they were in. They were hiding out, and then as you go down the hill, one of the things that it's interesting was that I didn't really recognize that you were going down an elevation because it was so seamlessly done from snow coming down to little patches of snow and then little puddles of water that were left over from from a rainfall the night prior, and then all of a sudden you're just in the dry land and you're waiting for this train, and it seems like this is going to be a world that you just live in for a very long time, And I think that's kind of the goal. I think the goal is not necessarily to tell us a story. It's more of telling us a story, but also letting you live in this character's skin for you just live this person's life. And it's I think they effectively have achieved that.
Yeah, they created a place to inhabit. They created a place to experiment and play, but that has a gravity and realism that other digital playgrounds you've encountered in open worlds don't really have. And so you feel grounded. And they've done these very subtle things to take the layers that normally exist between you and the abstraction of a video game out, and counters almost everything you do is controlled just by left trigger, whether you're engaging with a human being, your horse, a flower, something you notice. It's all dictated by that. And then a face button contextual menu that changes based on what's happening in that moment, your relationship with that person, etc., pops up, and nothing freezes, nothing. The world's just going on, and you're just seamlessly in it, and you engage, and you never know what's going to happen. You don't get this feeling that you're going to easily get used to this, or that you're going to find those seams and exploit cracks that you feel in other big open world games. It's just, it is different than anything I've ever seen before in a video game. in a very good way.
But is it fun?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Kind of not fun to play a preview like this because you're rushed. Because you're like, I want to absorb as much as I can. Like, I'm reading previews today, and people are like, well, then I naturally ask this question. And I'm like, good question.
Yeah.
I didn't think to specifically point that out. But that's what's fun is like, I normally, if I play through a part of a game, it's like, I'm not necessarily going to rush out and read other people's articles because they played the same thing that I played. But like, I am dying to take, absorb as many takes as I can. It's just like, I want to hear your stories. I want to hear the stuff like that, the Possum story. I love that. They pulled a gun on a guy, and he pulled a gun on us. And was like, you're not robbing me today. And then we like apologized, like, no, I'm sorry, and put our gun away. And the guy wandered off. And the entire time he was walking away from us, he kept looking over his shoulder at us, still had his gun out, was still like on, on edge. And
so you just said it was like nothing you've ever played before.
Yeah.
Red Dead 1, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Uh-huh.
Does this game feel like a melding of the two, or does it feel like an entirely new thing?
It has elements of both that you recognize. In many ways, it is the sequel to Grand Theft Auto 5. But Grand Theft Auto 5 is a world of parody and a world of that is there largely to throw a kind of a black mirror against ours. This is a game that more celebrates an idea. It shows the darkness of that idea, but it also shows the beauty of it, just like real life. So in that sense, I think it accomplishes more than GTA 5 did from an artistic perspective, even though GTA 5 is an amazing technical feat that I love. In terms of Red Dead 1, you see all the elements are there. Deadeye, conversations, lovable characters, quirky humor. The dialogue, by the way, in this one, I think is much better than the dialogue in Red Dead 1. I love the writing and the voice acting. They're great. Just encounter voice acting and encounter writing is tremendous. But this feels like, yes, I see all the pieces that it's building on, but this is the great leap forward. This is another level. The nearest I can put it is an analogy I very rarely use. When I was a kid in 1985, 6 or so, I was at my birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. And I saw Super Mario Brothers for the first time in an arcade machine, even before I'd seen it on an NES. And I walked over and put my quarter in and played it. And at that point, think about the video games I'd played on the Atari 2600 or in arcades before that, single screen, And the world just went on and on and on and on. And there were places in the sky, and there were oceans, and there were underground areas, and it just kept going. It was a world, a whole wide world. And it was like that game came down from outer space. That's how I felt when I walked out of this demo.
Interesting, because look, don't get me wrong, I was impressed with the visuals of it, and I was impressed with how seamless everything transitioned from outside to inside, how vast the draw distance was, all that jazz. But it didn't you were very taken by this.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, oh, cool. There's lots to do in this game. That was my takeaway.
Okay.
But to me, as a person who did not play Red Dead and who doesn't traditionally gravitate toward these giant open world games, I don't think I was immediately struck with the vastness or why this was so important to you. So that's my question to you: is what did you see that makes you think this is in and not to say revolutionary, but a different step forward? Because to me, this looks like it's GTA if GTA the map was bigger and the loading screens were seamless and your car moves a lot slower.
Right.
Brandon had his hand up. What do you got, Brandon?
Well, did you like Last of Us?
Poops.
I did not play Last of Us.
Did you like Last of Us?
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of viewers enjoyed Last of Us. One of my favorite moments, maybe my favorite moment from The Last of Us was I came up to a fence and there was a chain on it, and I learned by that point, I just got to shoot this chain off. And so Joel raises up his revolver and he says, Ellie, get out of the way. And I was like, and I stopped for 60 seconds. I was like, that's amazing. I didn't push a button. I didn't tell him to say that. He just naturally realized, hey, I'm gonna fire this gun next to you. Get out of the way because I don't want you to get any shrapnel or something like that. And I was like, that's awesome. I'm really excited to see more of that in games, more of these tiny interactions where I'm not like, oh, the big emotional moment for me was that giant monologue at the end of Act 2. It's like, no, it's a collection of just these little tiny bits. And so Red Dead for me is what if everyone is that? every single person in the entire map, whether you know that person or you don't, whether it's an enemy or a friend or a stranger or a gang member. You know, it's like everyone has those possibilities of ways that they can interact. And I think I'm just at that point with where we are in games where, like you were saying, like when you look at a big map and I see people walking around, like if it's just a bunch of mannequins that are kind of animated to look like people, you know, like I still, when I play sports games, look in the crowd and I'm like, we're almost there. But it's exciting to see, you know, like I was staring at a guy, threw a guy out of a bar, you know, and they started yelling at him, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm doing the argument animation. Like they were just, it just felt like a much more fluid moment that I was observing that happened in this world, and not like, ah, yes, you walked into town at this time, therefore this is going to happen.
Yeah, as concisely as I can, the people don't feel like set dressing. The animals don't feel like resources to harvest. The towns don't feel like hubs for missions. And it's not just about the fidelity of the visuals. It's not just about the sharpness of that, although it does help a lot that it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's about things like the ability to change a camera angle dynamically while I'm traveling without it screwing up my control, and that camera angle change not being about, oh, now I'm looking from a little distance, but suddenly it's a cinematic movie shot and the dialogue and the music don't change and I'm just talking, and it's like I'm watching a movie cutscene, but I'm controlling it, but not in a crappy QTE way, and then cutting again, and now I'm close up and the light's different in a valley and it's completely different close up there, and then onto a third, and then back to the traditional control, and none of it feels any different. So that's one. Another, the fact that the ways I would interact with this world aren't a matter of a particularly menu-driven exclamation point over the head approach. Even like finding encounters is based on, oh, here's a fog on the map. Might be something in there worth checking out. And it's not you see a fog, it's a fog on your top-down map, and you go in, it's like, there might be some interesting stuff around here, but we're not going to tell you quite what it is. I'm walking past a guy on the street, and I just start talking to him, and because of the time of day, where he's been, and the fact that he knows a little about me, his greeting goes one way, then I respond one way, then he goes down another tree, then I go down another, but we're not stopping playing. It's not like, hello, citizen, at all. We're just walking along in the early morning dawn, and it's drowsy, and it's wet, and everything I could see in the game, from that left trigger interface to the interaction system with human beings, to going and buying guns in the store and discovering it was a Shooter's Bible catalog that I could just read pages of extemporaneous text on if I wanted to the fact that if I get a haircut, I can only get it cut down because my beard doesn't grow out. I have to wait time for that. I can't just get a big beard. I have to wait for it to grow.
How was your beard in the game?
I made you.
Oh, it was me?
Yeah, I tried to make me, then he turned around. I was like, it looks like Tim.
So long Jaron ran over. Every step of the game seems to be calculated to take those layers of video game out from between me and the world and make everybody feel like they're real.
I wonder how I will react to this. And traditionally, like, you know, I'm the least gamer in this. I played it. I'm like, this is really fun. All the mechanics are great. I want to play around in this world. My big question is always the same question when I start these games that seem to take away less direction from you. How long until I get lost and go, I think I'm losing the story in this. I have nothing to hold on to. Because all the things that you guys are describing as like as benefits and merits of this game, while I can absolutely see that they are also the things in these games that tend to get me to lose you know, I lose a little attention span when it comes to this stuff. Like, I don't necessarily love hunting, so making the hunting mechanic a little bit more organic, I'm like, no, tell me where the bears are so I can go fucking hunt the bears. Like, I don't want to have to happenstance and happen by this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, again, saying that these are minor criticisms based on person that this is not. I looked at this game and I'm like, I want to play this game. I do, because it's based on how it looks, how it plays, the story elements that I saw. But I could definitely see hours and hours of wandering and exploring that after a certain point, it might tucker me out a little bit.
I wonder about that. They made the point that the storytelling is not strictly linear, and so that line between main quest and side quest is kind of blur. Some, you know, there's things that just advance the story, and I wonder if that wandering will feel as listless in a world that's designed with that design principle in mind. If maybe you won't be able to help but stumble on to what you need to stumble on.
I think that's the goal, right? And that's the thing is, again, I'm basing this off of being able to wander on toward a town for approximately 5 minutes. I didn't get a lot of exploring. I think I came across a group of either bucks or deers or something, I can't remember, and I took my bow out, nailed them with one shot. Very much impressed the 2 PR people that were with me, or the devs rather, and then took it back to camp and, like, you know, did all that stuff. It was fun, but again, I'd have to sit in there and play around for a couple hours to tell you if this next design evolution is that big of a jump.
I'm curious to see how much it evolves to playstyle, because like even going back to like Final Fantasy II, the way they try to set up the leveling system was like, you know, if I use this weapon more, I'll level up that weapon, and then because the game's like, oh, you want to do that, then you go do that more. And I'm really curious to see, like you were saying, you're just like, I don't really feel like hunting. It's like you don't have to, and it's going to be interesting to see the story ramifications of you know, down like 8 hours into the game, where like people are kind of looking skinnier, and you get a comment as you're in town, where it's like, man, I could go for a meal right now, and you're like, yeah, stop complaining. I'm sorry I didn't go hunting. You know, it's like you're getting all of these things that are occurring naturally in the world. That's not just like time to load the everyone's sick and hungry cutscene. It's just like peppered throughout everything. You know, little conversations when you're going on a mission and you're on horseback with everybody. They might comment on things.
Just so the listeners at home know, there was a dog
Somebody's
outside.
skinning a dog outside.
Like, what the fuck is going on with it? So that is on our side, and we apologize.
Kept moving, and so I kept thinking every time he moved, oh, he's going to shut the door or the window.
He's
working on something totally different. He's doing a manifesto right now for the Coelho way of life.
I don't even know what could be happening out there.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah, no, I'm really interested with this because it's like I'm with Nick. This is not my type of game. I enjoyed Red Dead 1 quite a bit, but it was more for the story elements, not so much for the gameplay side of it. When it comes down to it, I'd rather play a GTA game than one of these. But like, it does look gorgeous to the point that I'm like, I'm interested in giving it a shot.
Don't let the gorgeous fool you. The gorgeous is the hook, but the fidelity extends beyond the visual gorgeousness.
Oh, yeah.
Everything feels crafted and consistent. It's like we were talking about The Messenger earlier, right? And like the game reflects the theme, reflects the game. Like Celeste, you know, this is a game about overcoming something and climbing a mountain that's also super hard and literally like lives out that metaphor. I got that same sense when I looked at the snow melt coming down a mountain, glistening off a rock, looking like something out of where I grew up in North Carolina, and realized that somebody drew and crafted that tiny little spot just so I'd see it so beautifully like that. I got that same feeling when I talked to a person, when I wandered into a clearing and saw something that was a little hidden away, when I looked out over a mountaintop, or when I looked in a book, or when I looked in my arsenal, everything feels crafted. It's a universe where you almost can't help but believe in a god. Like, they are the gods of creation, and they have made you a world.
So it's very early to say this, but based on what you've seen and played, do you think that this has a chance of dethroning God of War?
Okay,
in the Game of the Year conversations.
So previews are a tenuous beast, but I just said to you that this is the best preview I ever played.
This made Jared re-believe in God.
I can just picture you looking over your shoulder at the preview, and he's in the back there.
But no, to be honest with you, that there's no way that unless there's just no reason to believe that the rest of the game doesn't feel like what I just experienced, because their track record.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing at this point. I would be very surprised if this game isn't very in the Game of the Year conversations. I think we have a lot of reason to believe that an exceptional generation-defining video game is about to descend upon us from on high. What do you think, Brendan?
Yeah, I definitely think so, especially because it's coming out like perfect Game of the Year time.
Yeah.
You know, like couple months before all those votes are going to go in, and I think. It's like painful to say something negative about God of War, but like a lot of us maybe did some things in a different order in that game, but generally had a lot of the same beats. There's a very specific story beat that like you would always kind of check in with other people. Wait, how far have you gotten? Did you get? Okay, you still have. All right, then we'll talk. Let me in 2 more hours. You and me need to have a conversation about this crazy moment in that game. Where with this, like the wonderful experience I had with Jared today, where it was like, what did you do? And that was a question actually I asked because I knew he played it before me. I was like, what did Jared do? Tell me. Like, they're like, well, he pet a lot of dogs, and and like the differences between his play style and mine. And the thing that's interesting about that is you and I both played a Arthur Morgan that was manufactured by the developers for that demo, for that slice of the game that we got. Whereas if I'm starting from scratch, from mission 1, and from that moment on, I can pick what I wear, what weapons I bring, what designs I have on those weapons, who I decide to be friends with. Be really interesting to like watch a friend play that game, and they go back to camp, and one guy goes by and it's just like, yeah, screw you, and it's like, whoa, that guy's mad at you. What did you do? And like, I don't even know at this point, like, and trying to figure out, because normally in games I can be like, no, it was this mission, it was this thing, that's when things turned around, or the game deliberately put a choice in front of me where it's like, I'm now betraying this guy. Whereas this game, it's just a lot of little tiny beats that add up to that stuff.
Video games very rarely surprise you. Even the best video games only surprise you a few times. God of War's great because it surprises you over and over and manages that. Red Dead also surprises me in really good ways. I think about, I got in a shootout during one of the missions, and I just wanted to see how the systems interacted. I was looking for a Breath of the Wild style interaction. So I pick up a dead body, and the body starts bleeding down me. And when I get the body off, the blood's like all over me. And I throw the body like down on the ground next to a campfire, and the wrist falls in the campfire. And the shirt starts to smolder and then smoke. And then the fire goes up the shirt, each individual thing. Pretty soon there's this burning corpse laying in front of me. And I'm like, okay, well, we can transmit fire from the thing. But I thought about that blood on me and realized that was not going to get cleaned off on its own. And if you don't wash it off, it's going to stay. Or if it doesn't rain, it's going to stay. And I talked to John Ryan from IGN, who also played it at one of the demos. And John told me he walked into town covered in blood after a shootout, and people freaked out. They're like, what happened? And it wasn't like, oh, no, get the sheriff. It was like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, because you walked into town covered in blood. That's a surprise. And I think there's going to be thousands of those. That's rare, especially in an open system game like that.
Nick,
yes.
Did your horse poop at any point?
My horse did not poop at any point.
Oh, man.
But let me ask you this question.
Pooping in this
if
thing.
I told you that I went into a bar and accidentally hit the wrong control and started a 15-minute shootout that ended with me giving myself up to the cops and going to jail to pay I had to go to the post office to pay a fine, a bounty on my head. Would you believe that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's 100%. What happened. That's exactly what happened. I went to talk to the bartender, and I ordered a beer, and then I went to drink the beer, and I don't know what I hit, but I just blew some dude's head off. That was the edge of the bar. That would be the right trigger. And it was hilarious because everyone scattered. Yeah. And then people started filing in to come get me, and it just went. I went all the way up to this other house, and I got a lot of them, Tim. Yeah. I put up a good fight. Yeah. But at a certain point, they got me. And then when I came back, they were like, you got to go pay your bounty or else you can't come back into town. And so I had to go back and like avoid the sheriffs and pay. So it was fun.
Cool.
And then, the devs said they caused a ruckus in one town and then paid went to jail, slept it off, and then went to someone in some store, and they said, oh, by the way, my cousin's the sheriff, and we were talking the other day, and like you really got to slow down with your attitude here, and like the stuff that you're doing in town, otherwise it's just gonna get to a point where the sheriff's like, I just don't want you around here anymore.
Yeah, interesting.
So these weird threads,
and
it's like hard to tell where they stop.
We haven't even talked about the characters, the camp, the whole like Robin Hood element of the game. And
did you talk about that on Red Dead Radio?
Yeah.
If you want even more in-depth thoughts on all of this, go check out
Red Dead Radio, the Red Dead Redemption podcast, which you can find on iTunes, on Android podcasts, on YouTube at youtube.com/hotblipandajump. Last week, John Ryan and I talked through playing this game for about an hour. This week, Brandon and I talked through playing this game for about an hour. That episode will be up probably I'm thinking about a day after this one goes live.
Cool.
And you'll be able to check that out. But yeah, if you would subscribe to that and go and download every episode and listen, I could continue to live. So please do so.
Please do. That's right. Please do. Thanks, Nick.
Talk about real world consequences there,
Oh yeah,
that's a decision you can make.
I desperately need these people's help if I'm going to continue doing this. So yeah, the crisis is definitely reached.
It is now time for everyone's favorite game show, Mobile Game or Bullshit.
It's Mobile Game or Bullshit. It's Mobile Game or Bullshit. Jay's gonna read some stuff and we'll figure out if it's over me or not.
Guess I'll take this back because this can't be a championship bout without the champ.
That's right.
Yeah. Nick won last week.
Nick Scarpino won. Actually, that was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks
I won
ago.
last week too, but I guess I missed that call.
Yeah.
Come back and defend my title.
You want to stay for this one?
No, I'm good.
You're right here. Come on over. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today it's Mobile Game or Nintendo Game in honor of Switch Online and those NES games that I was griping about earlier. We're going to give you the names and descriptions of 7 games, some mobile games, some NES games. You tell me which is which. We're going straight games on games. None of this mobile game or German house band. None of this mobile game or Amazon porn. This time it's just mobile game or NES game.
Boy,
we did that once. Yeah, totally. What's that?
I missed those, and I'm sad.
Yeah.
That's it.
They were good ones. They were good ones.
All right, so
Brandon, I am infamously bad at this game, just so you know.
I don't expect to be good at this at all.
I've won once Greg Miller was undefeated. He had like an 8-win streak until Nick defeated him.
Nice.
So we'll see how this goes.
But you did win one time now.
I did win once.
All right. So it's not
Against
complete.
Game Explains Andre Seegers.
All right. So I'm going to read the game and the description, or a piece from the description.
Okay.
If it's there, it's from the mobile game description. Some of these are made up, some are not. All right.
Got it.
So all you got to do is say mobile game or Nintendo game. You want to go first, Brandon?
Why not?
All right.
Are you keeping track?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
that's very good. I'm
How
sorry. I
many
used to having
questions
Greg here to do
total?
it.
7.
7 today.
7.
Yeah.
Chill out, dude.
It's we were having tie things, so I wanted to make sure I had a few more options. Number 1, Brandon.
Yes.
Bubble Bath Babes, the sultry text adventure returns.
That's mobile.
All right, mobile game.
I'm going to go Nintendo game.
Nintendo game. Number 2, Battle of Olympus. Tim. Battle of Olympus, Gods, Titans, and Gorgons of Legend.
I hate this game. I'm going Nintendo. Going Nintendo.
What do you think?
Oh, mobile for sure.
Mobile game. Number 3, Infiltrator. The sun never sets on the Chinese hegemony. Or hegemony, pardon me.
Hegemony, I think.
Hegemony.
Yeah, I think it's hegemony,
I can't
yeah.
say it right.
NES, why not?
NES.
I also think NES.
NES. Number 4, Shadowgun Legends. Download the best mobile FPS RPG shooting game for free now. Tim.
Wait, what?
Shadowgun Legends. Download the best mobile FPS RPG shooting game for free now.
You fucking asshole, Jared. I hate you. Because here's the thing.
That's
Did he make up that description? That's the real test of this one.
He did. He definitely did.
Give me it again. I need it one more time.
Shadowgun Legends. Download the best mobile FPS RPG shooting game for free now.
It's a Nintendo game.
FPS RPG. Yeah, NES, FPS RPG. Get it.
All right. Number 5, The Magic of Sherazade. 1001 Arabian Nights are yours to command. Nights spelled with a K. The Magic of Sherazade. 1001 Arabian Nights are yours to command. Oh, this one's Brandon first.
My bad.
Right? Yeah, Brandon first this time.
Mobile.
Mobile game.
Yeah, mobile.
Mobile game. Number 6, Gun-Knack. That's spelled Gun space NAC. Brought to you by the Canadian Rifle Association.
Okay. No.
NES game.
NES game.
NES as well.
NES game. Number 7, finally, Brandon, 3D World Runner. Leap the abyss, cross the frontier, and achieve eternal victory.
NES game.
NES game.
Mobile game.
Mobile game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the hour of truth, the hour of decision has come. I saw recognition in your eyes for one of those.
I recognize one of those.
All right. Bubble Bath Babes. The sultry text adventure returns. NES game.
Yes, baby. Yes.
The unlicensed NES game with a bit of nudity in
Sounds
it.
like an unlicensed NES
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
That's right. Bubble Bath Babes. Number 2, Battle of Olympus. Gods, Titans, and Gorgons of Legend. Battle of Olympus. NES game.
Damn.
Fuck yes.
That's right. One of my favorite NES games. A really good like Zelda 2 ripoff with Greek gods and great music.
But Greek gods, you can just see the Facebook ad. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh, totally. The
these
Gorgons.
These were carefully chosen, yeah. Number 3, Infiltrator. The sun never sets on the Chinese something or other. Hegemony? I don't know how to
Hegemony.
say that. Hegemony. There we go. Hegemony cricket?
That's how I said it in high school.
Hegemony cricket?
I think it's
Infiltrator? NES game. Really crappy NES game that I had growing up.
And we both said NES, right?
Yep.
There we go.
So far, Tim is winning 3-1.
3-1, Tim.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Number 4, Shadowgun Legends. Download the best mobile FPS RPG shooting game for free now. You'd think I made that description up,
Oh,
but
damn.
I didn't. That's
Damn.
real.
Damn.
Shadowgun
So we both
Legends.
got that wrong.
Mobile game.
That sounds like some made up bullshit. There was too many buzzwords. You're not allowed to have that many buzzwords.
SEO, baby. SEO. Number 5, The Magic of Sherazade. 1001 Arabian Nights with a K are yours to command. Magic of Sherazade. Excellent, underrated NES
Damn
game.
it.
We both said mobile, didn't we?
NES. Magic of Sherazade. What's the score, Kevin?
3-1.
Still 3-1.
Tim winning.
Gun-Knack, brought to you by the Canadian Rifle Association. This one was the gimme. That one's an NES game.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I'm familiar with that
Yeah,
title.
Gun-Knack. That's an NES.
Not the game, but I'm just those letters
Yeah,
together.
So Gun-Knack
I've
is
seen before with my eyeballs.
It's by Compile, the company that made Guardian Legend and some other great games. It is a superb superb shooter. One of the best I've ever played on the NES.
Sponsored by Canada, dude.
Yeah, it's got space rabbits and bunnies that shoot carrots at you. You're attacked by packs of cigarettes in outer space for some reason. It's really weird, but it's very good. And number 7, 3D World Runner. Leap the abyss, cross the frontier, and achieve eternal victory. 3D World Runner brought to you by Square for the NES.
Really?
That's right. Yep, with 3D glasses.
What?
That's right. Just like Rad Racer, another Square title, which you could play with 3D glasses.
I did not know that.
And get a really terrible 3D effect. 3D World Runner, kind of a weird, like over-the-shoulder running game, but I think that only takes the score to 3-2. Kevin, is that correct? Or
I got the last 2.
3-4.
3 to 4.
Tim
right?
wins.
Tim wins. 4-3. Tim Gettys is the victor.
It's the guests. I can get the guests. I can't get Nick, and I can't get Greg.
Okay, so one time we're just going to have Nick, Greg, and you play like 20 questions of this or something.
God, I'm going to get
Tim,
destroyed.
what game was this?
It's mobile game or bullshit.
It's mobile game or bullshit. It's mobile game or bullshit. Jay's gonna read some stuff and we'll figure out if it's over me or not.
I still have no idea what you're saying for half of that, but it's okay. It sounds fun. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for the show. Brandon, thank you for joining us all day. Being on Games Daily, being on Red Dead Radio.
That's all the shows you got.
That's it. That's all the shows, man. All the shows. Thank you so much. Go follow him at Trailer Jones on Twitter. Easy Allies on YouTube and Patreon and everywhere else like that. Is there anywhere else? Twitch? You guys do Twitch?
Definitely Twitch.
Definitely Twitch.
Do that
Definitely
Twitch thing.
Twitch. Until next week, I love you.
Blow a kiss.
Now it's time for the post show.
It's time for the post show. It's time for the post show. Nick's going to answer some questions from Kebabs. I didn't do
It's
that.
always kebabs. It's always kebabs.
Hi, y'all. Let's see. Someone should make a mobile game called Mobile Gamer Bullshit. I like that.
That's good. Yeah.
We could do that.
Kebab says Tim has guessed 16 games correctly. Greg 21. I'm the keeper of this game's stats. That's not that bad.
Yeah. Greg's only beating you by like 40%, right? Something like that.
Well, when you say it like that.
Let's say. Yeah, that song makes me so happy. We should make a game out of it.
Panzer GS says, was there an FPS game ever on NES?
There were games with first person like dungeons. The closest I can think of is Golgo 13, which had like a shooting dungeon in it, but it's still like very choppy and bop, bop, step, 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 and then you shoot somebody if they're right in front of you.
It's not a first person shooter, but there was a game that I'm sure you know that me and Kevin hated more than anything called Shadowgate.
Oh, yeah.
We were so dumb and young that we never got past the first, like, I don't even know if it was a level.
Shadowgate
We
is
might not have
mean.
made it past the title screen. Like,
No, Shadowgate is cruel. That is a
Yeah.
cruel trial and error game that hates you and wants to kill you. And it's all about like just trying different things until you find the right order. Plus the
Bullshit.
stupid torch is there and you run out of time and just die.
do you remember this shit, Kev?
What?
Shadowgate?
Oh yeah, fuck that game.
Yeah. Beautiful music, great music in Shadowgate, really cool graphics, just cruel video game. But
I
yeah.
just remember the box art was really cool. It was like a
Really cool.
gargoyle.
Yeah, gargoyle on it. Yeah, and that skeleton, that awesome like badass skeleton would appear when you died. Remember like the Grim Reapers? Like,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It was just the box.
It was
There it is.
there.
You got your lyrics right there.
Yeah.
It's mobile
Jared's
gamer
gonna
bullshit.
read
Is it
some
mobile
stuff,
gamer
and we'll
bullshit?
figure out if
Jared's
it's
gonna
real
read
game or
some
not.
stuff.
Jared Petty.
Figure out if it's a real game or not. Jared Petty.
There we go. Nicely done,
Classic.
Greg.
Above
Miller.
that.
What's up?
The one above that.
Miss Yasmin says, Tim, have you ever thought of sending a doppelganger to your friends' weddings?
What does that mean?
Doppelganger is like a lookalike.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
German
No.
word.
No. I haven't.
Yeah, that's German, right?
Remember you had me be your stunt double one time?
I did have my brother be a stunt double.
At a reunion of my high school, I was not in this class, but one gal, I think she like wrote a news magazine article when she did it, but she had an actor go in her stead and
Oh my
had
God.
an earpiece and like fed her all of the lines as she walked around. And everyone was like, yeah, I remember you. It's like Groundhog Day. Like, right.
That's awesome. So fucked up.
That actually sounds like a plot to a good movie. Like
Sure.
you could totally build a rom-com around that premise.
Sure. And then they fell in love.
Exactly. Oh, Star Control Origins came out today. I didn't realize that. Will I be playing? Yes. Will I be giving impressions? No, because I'm going on vacation and will be gone for a week Saturday morning. So you'll see my you'll see Red Dead go up next week, but that's all going to be kind of by remote because I'm going to be gone for a few days.
Now, the stats are getting more interesting in my favor here. Kebab says Greg has won 5 games, Tim 2, and Tim is now 1 point behind Greg, 20 versus 21.
Damn.
I'll fucking take it. Someone needs to show up to work more. That's all I'm saying.
Oh!
You know what I mean?
Whoa,
Like-
he's allowed a vacation.
He's allowed to, but that just means I'm gonna fucking win. I'm gonna keep doing Gamescast without him.
Okay, there you go. Until you get
Stack the
ahead.
deck, get ahead. It's gonna be good.
Just stop inviting him to Gamescast. That's great. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
And yeah, no FF6 remake, but we got Octopath Traveler, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Actually, lots of Final Fantasy 6 notes in Dragon Quest 11. A lot of homages there.
And you're really liking 11, right?
Oh yeah, 11's very casual.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I love
You can
11.
dial up the difficulty, but everyone's automated, even in boss fights. I'm
Oh,
just
you're
like,
just
you
keeping
go-
your
you go
you're
do
keeping your
that
party
boss fight.
automated?
I infamously overlevel all my characters whenever I play an RPG. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm not even close to the first credits, and like they're all in their mid-50s.
My
so.
inner control freak will not allow me to automate my party members. I can't do it. I just like, no, I must control your move. I will choose better than you do, even though it's not necessary. Because like I said, over leveling. Good.
Every now and then I'm like, oh, multi-heal would have worked there, but you're fine.
Have you
Just
played?
keep going.
Have you played DQ5?
No.
That's the one to go. That's the best of them, and that's the one to go to.
Is that the one with the 3 different lives, or the 3 different stages in the one character's life?
one character's life? Yeah, and
I hear that a lot.
It's great. Plus the fact you can have monsters in your party, which is just so much fun. I mean, you can replace the slime in your party with something more powerful, but why would you?
Blue Dragon on 360, I did not play.
I did not play either.
Oh, we're talking about Blue Dragon. Yeah, that's an entire
It was a
podcast.
thing that happened.
That's an entire podcast.
No
Somebody-
Covet Jones this week. This was it.
Is that-
I did put up a video
this-
today talking just a little update on our
This is Yo
studio
Cup.
search.
A lot of people asking when Greg's coming back. He will be back on Monday.
Fucking finally, you know what I mean? I miss him.
I miss Greg. I miss him a lot.
Yeah, see, I was just with him.
Okay,
I
so you
don't
don't miss him
miss
at
him.
all.
Yeah, you know what? I don't. Being here in the studio and hanging out with
good.
the
No,
other,
this
with
is-
the other
this is
best
great.
friends, I'm digging it.
Did you see Snarky Starkey played Shadowgate?
No.
That rolled through. Yeah, he had it too.
Haven't seen Hostile. Did see Godless though. Godless was good.
Marcus
Kinda
Hutchins
meanders,
says,
but
Tim, did you spend
good finale.
time? Do you spend more time on Reset Era or Reddit? Definitely Reset Era.
Really?
Oh yeah,
That's interesting.
I'm on Reset Era like constantly.
Are you there for the dark web?
Reset Era is not a bad
I
place.
know. I'm just being.
No,
a
yeah,
jerk.
Reset Era is good, man.
No, Reset Era is fantastic.
I actually really, really like it.
Favorite Spider-Man that's not Homecoming? Probably 2. Easy answer.
Oh,
not.
no, it's a bad,
not.
that's a bad answer.
It's really not. I'm
Those
sure you've heard
movies
this
do
10
not
times
hold
today,
up.
but we're reviewing them
yeah.
all, so we're watching them week to week. It's shocking how not good the Sam Raimi movies are.
They're weird. They definitely stand out.
And even Amazing
especially
One and
in a
Two.
post Dark Knight era,
Yeah,
where they
totally.
just like kind of grounded everything. And
God, I don't want to get too ahead of stuff, but I was wrong about Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. But you know,
We
you
were
get
all
some, you
wrong.
lose some. I don't know what my favorite is though. We'll have to find out next Monday, or I guess next Thursday.
I think like
9
the
a.m.
weird '60s cartoon is the one after that, like the one that has the Spider-Man song.
Yeah.
where he barely moves. Just because the Spider-Man song is great.
Spider-Man song is great. Featured a lot in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. Definitely. Somebody was
Vinicius
asking.
Rojas says, "Did you guys talk about the death of the Vita on Games Daily?" Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Shows, dude.
Somebody was asking about Archon earlier, but I didn't see what they said, so I got excited because nobody ever talks about Archon. Let's see.
Marcus Hutchins says, honestly, Spider-Man 2 is still better than the Amazing movies. That's an opinion. You are definitely entitled to it. I know a lot of people think that as well.
A lot of people haven't seen those movies.
A lot of people, yeah.
A lot of people haven't seen those movies in a long time.
I wish it was more definitive, though. Like, I wish I could sit here and be like, Amazing Spider-Man is 100% better.
It's not, though.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not at all.
But Homecoming, though,
Homecoming
is definitively the best.
Definitively.
And
It's
anybody
not
that
even
thinks
close.
otherwise,
It's
so many
that
people
dumb.
are like, you guys are going to be shocked. You're going to be surprised. Like, Homecoming's not going to be your number one. Y'all are smoking crack.
Homecoming is a delightful
It's a
movie.
delight, man.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
doesn't have inverted controls. What are you talking about? I live for control inversion.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've inverted that whole thing.
There's something wrong with my brain, Brandon, where I don't consistently do it. Some games
Okay.
I invert, and
That's
some
awesome.
I don't,
No,
and
that's
I don't
awesome.
know why.
I'm like
No,
that
that's
too.
super weird. What?
I know it's weird.
Tim, what's the
That's
last
great.
game you've had to invert the controls?
Star Fox fucks me up. Like, because
Like-
I was so used to GoldenEye and Star Fox having inverted controls by default that certain games, like just depending on, like, if you're moving in cars or not, like, I need to invert my flight controls in Halo and things like that.
I learned to play like FPSs after Doom, like the ones where you could look up and down with mouse look. I learned to play with Descent. And so which is like a 3D, like any direction goes game. So I played Quake with inverted mouse controls still. I don't understand
Inverted
why.
mouse controls.
I know. It's really strange.
Wrong. All right. We're going to call it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for hanging out with us all day. We will see you tomorrow, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, the morning show with Joey and Nick Scarpino.
All right.
Followed by a Games Daily with Jared Petty and Mike Mahardy.
Yeah, Mike Mahardy coming over
GameSpot.
from the ye old GameSpot.
Should be
so
fun.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Until then, love you. Bye.
Audio's back up.
Ass is falling asleep.
Ass.
Ass. Remember that song, right?
Yeah. Kev,
Yeah, that's
you're just going to roll with this one, and we're going to do it, okay? It's 20 seconds, right?
You might still be live, just a heads up.
But this is the 20-second ending, okay? Cool, Greg? You're just going to have to go with it.
I don't care, man.
All right. Ass, 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 ass. Ass.